AgentBoard allows you to bring your own custom model and your own tools into the context of a browser session. So let's see it in action. I'm going to pop it open. It is a sidebar. You can bring in and configure as many agents as you like with different parameters. In this case, we're going to ask our skeptical CTO for an overview of the history of the model context protocol. As you can see, reasoning is built in. You can see the model thinking. It's going to call a couple of local tools. It's going to get the page information, extract the content, and you have our markdown streaming response right here. The agent also has access to an additional list of tools, and we'll see how those come to be. There's Perplexity search integration. So actually, let's ask it to what are the latest news for this protocol, and kick that off. Here, it'll determine that the best way to answer that intent is to run the query. So you can see it doing a tool call. You can see the query. You can also see the output that's being returned from the remote instance, and then the actual response. So if we go to help, there's also custom commands that you can configure, custom skills, but let's take a look at the settings. Here's where all the magic happens. You get to choose which model and which provider you bring. You bring your own keys, and you configure your own parameters, including chain of thought and the parameters for that. So your system prompt, your configuration. I have a few pre-configured here. Commands are shorthand skills. So allow you to expand and avoid repeating yourself all the time. You can pass in arguments, nice and simple. MCP is where it starts to get really interesting. So let's start at the bottom here. First of all, you can hook up your own remote HTTP servers. In this case, I have a proxy that aggregates a set of my own popular tools that I use all the time. This is where Perplexity came from. So the extension is able to connect locally to this proxy, and it integrates with standard or remote servers via my proxy. But you can bring in any MCP config and talk to remote servers. That's nice. But the other thing that makes this agent really powerful is WebMCP, which is an emerging standard. And the idea here is that pages themselves can expose a set of tools to the agent such that the agent can interact with the page. So AgentBoard actually comes with a set of tools built in. For example, fetch URL, DOM query, and perhaps the most useful is DOM readability. It actually bakes in the Mozilla readability library, which consumes the HTML or the DOM of the page and extracts the readable content and formats it as markdown for our agent to interact with. But let's actually create a simple script here. I'm going to paste something in. So for example, let's build a script that returns URL of the current page. We're going to call it current URL. There really is no input schema here. And in our return type, we will return document location in the response. This can be as sophisticated as you want it to be. Effectively, this script gets injected into the page. It gets registered as a tool provider, and we are executing this logic within the context of the page. So if there are APIs that you want to access on the page, you can do so. You can also walk the DOM, of course, and do all the things that you need. So let's save current URL. So this is now a new custom tool, and we can come back to our page here and reload the page just to make sure that we get that registered. Let's take a look at our list of tools. If all worked well, there's the new tool that we just created, custom current URL. So let's ask, what is the current URL? And if we go down to the bottom, our GPT should pick it up and call the tool. And as you would expect, the output was the URL of the page that we're on. That is AgentBoard. You can bring custom tools, your model, your keys, your commands, and have fun with it.